The franchise nobody talks about when a new installment isn't coming out is back. So now we can talk about it again. And the only movie I've watched in 3D in a long while. The last time I watched a movie in 3D was Avatar: The Way of Water. Jokes aside though, the 3D is one of the major highlights of this movie. I mean, it was beautiful to see. I'm glad that I don't watch movies in 3D. Not that they release movies in 3D anyway. But if you do get the chance to watch this in 3D, definitely do. It won't be money wasted. At least it wasn't to me. Even though it costs an arm and a leg to go to the theater these days. It's getting so damn expensive. The plot of Avatar: Fire and Ash is pretty simple. We follow them right after Avatar: The Way of Water. Jake Sully is trying to be one with the water people, with his family, trying to stay away from danger. But of course, you have Miles Quaritch from the previous two movies that is the definition of resilient, that still wants to bring Jake Sully to justice, or what he thinks is his justice. The bad guys are still trying to destroy nature, and of course now we have a new baddie who is the Ash people, led by the mistress of them all, Varang. That woman, she's unforgettable. I ain't gonna lie, man. She unforgettable. And we follow the Sullys as they try their best to find peace in the land of Pandora, which is no easy task when everything on Pandora is very lucrative to the bad guys who are the humans. That's the best I can do when it comes to the plot, because these movies, when it comes to story, are the most simplistic. When it comes to the world building, they are amazing, but story-wise, they don't go in too deep. Because I'm not going to waste any more times. The reason you come to these movies, the major positive of these movies is the visuals. I mean, oh my God. The CGI in these movies makes no sense. I'm serious. All the movies that come out nowadays, all the big budget movies, cost almost the same amount as Avatar, but never look the same as Avatar. I mean, when you watch Fire and Ash and see that it costs 400 million, then you see other movies that cost 300 to 350, close enough. I don't think 50 million makes all that difference in the CGI. If anybody works in CGI, please let me know if that's right or wrong. Because the scope of everything that is happening on screen, because I watched it in IMAX, and when you're looking at it, when you have these big ships and big forests all around you, and you're looking at that corner, and you're looking at that corner, and you're looking at stuff that's right in front of you, and you go, oh, it means you've done something right. It's stupendously glorious. I gotta say it how it is. There are scenes where these big, humongous aircraft carrier ships are gliding on the top of the ocean, and it's just, oh. If you don't think or say, damn, you're forcing yourself to hold it back. And I'm not too sure if my cinema has the capacity to play movies with high frame rates, but there are moments, if it was working, I felt that it was there, made me even look closer at the screen and go, can I see the pores on their face? You can see the sweat drop down. I know I'm going over it again and again, but there are times I look at it, I'm like, this looks more real than real life. It makes no sense to say that, but sometimes you're watching it and you see everything that's happening on their face with their eyes, and it goes up and down, and they're scrunching in the pores, and you're like, now, this makes sense when it costs 400 million, so why does everything else that costs 350, 400 million not get even close to this? You feel me? And the characters in this movie are going through the forest, they're going into water, they're going through fire. There's a scene where someone jumps through fire. I swear to God, it made my pupils dilate. And that doesn't happen too often with movies, so I will give credit where credit is due, because I have to. This movie is almost 3 hours, 20 minutes long. I think 3 hours 15, 3 hours 17 or something like that. I was never bored for the entirety of this movie. There was always something going on. There was always a small action scene that escalated to a bigger action scene, and the last action scene was the biggest. I like when that happens. I always like when there are set pieces and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not the first action scene is the biggest one and the last one is a very minuscule one. All the action set pieces I feel escalated from the one before, and the last one had the most spectacle to it and had the most tension to it. To me, it had the most emotion to it. And I hate people talking about how they recycled stuff from the old movie and they didn't try a lot of new things. It didn't bother me much in this movie because this is the world we've come accustomed to, and these are the powers that these worlds have. So why not use them again if they worked before? But I will say, when they do use the story beats that they used in the previous movies, it did take the predictability up by about 10 to 15%. That I will say. But you remember in the heyday of Marvel, 2 movies used to come out a year and they all used to recycle the same story beats over and over again. And I never used to complain about it then, so I'm not going to complain about it in this movie when I used to watch more movies in that entire franchise that kept recycling the same thing over and over again. And they didn't look as good as they do in Avatar: Fire and Ash. So if I didn't complain then, I shouldn't complain now. That's the way I feel, at least. But that's the thing with movies. They always have to have a little bit of predictability to them. If anybody has watched an unpredictable movie recently, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to watch an unpredictable movie. I haven't watched an unpredictable movie in ages. Why did I run out of breath? I don't know. But back to the positives. I think the acting gets better from movie to movie. I thought Sam Worthington was very ordinary in the first Avatar. And he stood out a lot to me in Avatar: The Way of Water. And in this last one, well, we don't know if it's the last one just yet. I really get the feeling that he is the leader, the proper leader of this family. I don't see him as a weak leader, which is very important when he is supposed to be a leader. So I will give him props for exuding that energy while watching the movie. Zoe Saldana in these movies has always had this animalistic nature to her that I really like. Whenever she goes all the time. I know why they made them look like cats, because cats are adorable, and whichever she does that, it makes them look adorable. I know it's not supposed to, but it just happens. And I believe Stephen Lang's villain, Miles Quaritch, is going to go down as one of the most underrated villains in cinema history. Because when you watch him and you start to think, why are you making such a big deal about Jake? Just leave it, man. Go and do other things. You got a tall 9-foot body of a Na'vi. Go and do a lot of things. Leave Jake Sully alone. But no, he has to move heaven and earth to bring him to justice. And when I watch these movies, I only get the vibe that Miles Quaritch wants to bring Jake Sully to justice. Nobody else in the big corporation organization from Earth cares. He's more of a side mission. It's like, oh, if we also get Jake Sully, that would be cool. But if we don't, I want the minerals from those animals. Yeah. How much can we get? 100 billion per pound. Ooh. Jake Sully who? That's the vibe I get watching these movies. But the standout in this movie, or dare I say it, in this franchise, is Varang. Who is Varang? It's this woman. Oh my God, man. I'm about to swear, but she a bad Anna Chaplin that played Varang in this movie, I want to give her flowers, a nice big bouquet, because when I watched her in this movie, I just want to say, her motion capture with the way she walks in every time is so feral, like a majestic jaguar, like a leopard, and you're just going, ooh, are you trying to, tantalize me with your movement? Because it's working. We need to penetrate her team, infiltrate her team so we can bring it down from within.
I volunteer as tribute!
Do you know who she reminded me of while I was watching the movie? Once I say it, you will never unsee it.
Santanico Pandemonium!
Am I right or am I right? My father never had restrictions when I was watching movies when I was younger, so I watched that movie when I was really young. Never forget. Wait, where was I? Yes, the acting. I think the acting was really good. She was definitely the standout. Even the kids did well. Most of them. There's one kid who didn't do very well. I'll talk about him in the negative so you'll know he was the only one that was bad. But everybody else, I think, did really well for these movies. And the fact that it's motion capture, I don't know. I'm not an actor. If there's any actors out there, let me know. I feel like it's a little bit harder when you got all that stuff on you. There's like an LCD TV right in front of your face, and you have to look an actor in the eye and still get this kind of performance. It would definitely take me some getting used to if I was acting in front of somebody and they've got all these dots in front of them and they're wearing leotards and LCD lights, and I'm like, I love you. It kind of looks funny with the dots. Oh, sorry. Yes. I love you. Do you see what I mean? I don't know, man. My mind goes a mile a minute. I don't know what I say sometimes. And when stuff is going down in this movie, there are some characters where you wouldn't think they're going to die that actually die. I'm not going to give you spoilers, but they're not afraid to kill anybody in this movie. Almost that Game of Thrones vibe, which I like. I like having that vibe because sometimes when you watch a series that's very well known, you'll think, oh, they can't kill the main character. And Game of Thrones changed that for us. In this movie, sometimes when I'm watching the war scene, I'm like, they're not going to kill him. And I'm like, oh, whoa. That guy's dead. Oh my God, that person's dead. Oh my God, that person's dead. Yo, they ain't messing around. And that makes the battle so much more engrossing when you see somebody fighting and you think, they have plot armor. Oh my God, that plot armor just came off. Just in that instant. He gone. Or she. And one thing that's always disappointed me about this franchise, especially in the first two movies, is the score, the soundtrack. I'm a big scores guy. My top 25 on my iPod, if you still have an iPod, I still do. The top 25 is mostly movie scores. I swear to God, because that's how much I love movie scores. It works my imagination the most. And the first two movies in this franchise have such lackluster, almost, I have to say the word because the word is coming to me, boring music in the first two. And if you watch some videos on YouTube, they did steal a lot from other movies, so it's not even their own. And this third one, for the first time, had moments in it that actually captured my imagination, captured my feelings, my emotion. and had these rousing moments. It only took 3 movies for me to start liking the music, but I will acknowledge it that the music in this one is much better than the last 2. And if a 4th one ever comes out, I hope that they enhance on this. Please do, because I love movie scores. Now let's talk about some of the negatives. Now these are not major negatives to me, they are just small negatives, because for the majority of this movie, I was really engrossed. I was really enjoying it, everything about it. What I was seeing, what I was hearing, the sound. Seriously, IMAX. I wish I could watch every movie in IMAX. It's that good. Whew. Anyone that loves IMAX knows what I mean. But if I had to pick one of the negatives of these movies, is it doesn't have the most engrossing story, and the dialogue sometimes a little bit weak. It's not the weakest I've ever seen, definitely, but there are definitely moments that just feel like they're very run-of-the-mill dialogue. Sometimes even bordering on cheesy, I ain't gonna lie. The scenes where the dialogue does shine though is when they have their family issues, their family conflicts. I feel those scenes are very well written and very well acted. But sometimes in between, when you have the kids talking and being very kiddish and you have these cheesy lines of them trying to uplift themselves, sometimes it gets a little bit cringy, just slightly cringy. Nothing earth-shattering, just, you could have said that better. But one of the biggest negatives that I gotta talk about is the acting of this kid. My God, was he the weakest actor in part 2 and this one? My God, I mean seriously. This movie cost $400 million. You can spend a little bit on casting. I don't know what you saw in this kid in the audition. I've got nothing against him personally. Only for these movies, he is the weakest. You know who was talking about weak sauce recently when it comes to actors? This kid. He needs to go for a lot more training, because what we saw in this movie was just... Every scene he was in, he brought down the emotion because he lacked showing it on screen. And don't give me any of that crap as, oh, you're being too hard on him as a kid actor. There are so many kid actors that I've seen in movies when I was young, and even when I watched them when I'm older, I'm like, that is really good. River Phoenix in Stand By Me. Amazing. He was even younger than the kid in this movie. Another James Cameron movie has a really young actor in it. It's called Terminator 2. It starred Edward Furlong. He was amazing in that movie. And that was his very first acting role. He was pulled off the streets to do that movie. And he showed amazing emotion. Amazing range for a kid. There are kid actors out there that can act very well. This kid does not have the skills. I'll be polite and say yet. He doesn't have them yet. And every scene that he was in took me out of the scene almost entirely. I'll say that. I'm being harsh, I know. But I'm being honest. They should have picked somebody totally different for that role, because they give him very, very emotional scenes to play with, and he does not know what to do with them at all. Some of the most emotional. Some with Jake Sully, some with Neytiri, some with Quaritch, all of them. And he just fumbles the bag all the time. His delivery is so amateur. Even when he's trying to make himself cry, he does the most, basic of things. Jake, please, I'm your family. Don't leave. Don't leave me, please. I mean, even when he's shouting basic commands, it feels bad. Come on, guys, here. Come on, this way. Over here, guys. We need to go this way. Come on, guys. Come on, this way.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Look, I don't mean to be as harsh as I'm being on this kid, seriously, but he needs to go to some acting classes, some really expensive. Get all the money that you got from these Avatar movies and go to some acting classes. Learn some of the basics, watch some of the greats, and try to get better. Because if we make Avatar 4 and this kid is there, I hope to God it's 3 to 4 years from now and he has gone through Juilliard at least. Something. Just get a little better. Just a little bit. Show some effort. I feel like most of my negative was just on that kid. Sorry. And that's it for the negatives. But I also want to talk about something else, which is the future of this franchise, because it's a very curious dilemma for this franchise. These movies cost a lot of money to make. This one cost $400 million, like I said before. They're waiting to see how this third one does at the box office. If it does do well, they have to make a part 4. But if they don't have a part 4 planned straight away in the next year or so, year or two, they are in for a lot of trouble because of inflation. Like I said, these movies cost $400 million to make now. If they wait 6, 7, 8 years to make a movie, the budget of these things are going to skyrocket. I wouldn't be crazy to say that Part 4 might cost 550, 600 million to make 6 years from now, 7 years from now, if they take that much time. Avatar The Way of Water came out in 2022 and the budgets are roughly the same. I think Way of Water is a little bit more expensive. So if they don't make a movie straight away, it is going to cost them an arm and a leg and a bloody skyscraper to make this movie. And that is just the budget, not the marketing, not the back end, 20% of deals and merchandising and all that stuff. Just the budget. That means altogether it might cost anywhere between $600 to $700 million to make.
That's insane.
And I read an article recently that James Cameron said that these movies need to hit the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time. It needs to make $2.345 billion, $2.5 billion worldwide to be profitable. Sometimes need to hit 1.92 billion just to break even. Damn. Because nowadays and for a long time, movies don't make that second wave of profits, which is physical media. Nobody, for the most part, is buying physical media because it goes straight to streaming. If these movies go straight to streaming in 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision, why buy the physical media? You can buy the physical media when you stop having that streaming service. That would make sense. But why buy it when you have a streaming service that has it in the highest clarity ever? So it's going to be really interesting looking at the box office performance of this movie to see whether it's going to garner a part 4. I want it. I would like to see it because I enjoy the cinema experience of these movies. But most likely, this is going to be the last Avatar for a very long time, if not ever. Definitely can't wait to see how this fares at the box office. So my closing thoughts are, for this franchise, it is one of the most titular movies that you should watch in the theater. It's one of its best aspects and its worst aspects, which is you get the most out of these movies when you watch them in the cinema. But also when you watch them at home, they lose a lot of that luster that you enjoy on the big screen, which a lot of other movies don't have. Like, I watched Dune in the theaters and it's amazing and I love it. And when I watch it at home, I still enjoy it and I still love it. But Avatar just loses something when you watch it at home, which I kind of hate because I really enjoy the cinema experience and these movies are meant to be experienced in the cinema. But then again, when you watch it at home, you lose a lot that you don't have because you don't have the cinema experience. It's kind of a double-edged sword with this franchise. But I do have to say it because it's true. And now when it comes to the rating of this movie, I'm going to give it 2 ratings. The cinema experience rating and the overall movie rating. As a cinema experience, this movie gets 10 out of 10. I mean, it is beautiful, it is spectacular, it is sublime, it is the most high definition that you can see if you watch it on the best screen that you have. Go watch it on the biggest screen that is available to you in your country. You will not be sorry. And then overall as a movie, I'd give it 8.8. For a 3-hour, 15-minute movie, I was never bored. I mean, that is hard to do these days when we have our attention spans that we do. And this is the second time in the franchise that I've ever wanted to go back to the theater to watch it again. Only the first one made me want to go back to the theater. The second one, after I watched it in the cinema, I said I can wait for this when it streams. Fire and Ash, if a friend wants to go and watch it again, which one of my friends hasn't seen it, if he wants to go with me, I'd go again. I enjoyed it that much. So that's a plus that needs to be noted. And I would also like to know, what are your thoughts on Avatar Fire and Ash? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you never like this franchise from the start? Did you always think that this franchise was overrated? Please let me know in the comments. Let's discuss it. Let's open up a discourse. But anyways, my beautiful people, please show this video some love with a like, a share, comment, subscribe if I entertained you enough, which I hope I did. And as always, peace, love, and I will see you when I see you.